us on season 7, episode 10, where we watch The Real Love Boat, season 1, episode 1. And this is princess cruises are amazing. You should go on a princess cruise on those, Chris Lorenz.
This is a great opportunity to show off your bodies. Wow. This is Brian.
If this is your first time listening, we watch a different reality show each week and discuss it in minute detail. And those were references to this week's show. But last week, we watched Dated and Related. We had a poll on Twitter to think what you guys thought of the show. And you guys voted the show as top third show. You agreed with some of us on the podcast. So there you go. Brian, what show did we watch this week?
This week we watched The Real Love Boat, inspired by the long-running scripted classic about vacationers aboard a luxury Princess Cruises ship. It's full steam ahead on CBS for The Real Love Boat, and it's all about romance, chronicling the adventures of real-life singles brought together for a Mediterranean voyage in search of the one. Assuming they navigate the compatibility and chemistry challenges along the way, only one lucky couple will win a cash bounty and ultimately luxury princess cruise. The Real Love Boat.
Princess Cruise.
The Real Love Boat. Come aboard. They're expecting you.
Thank you, Brian. We're apparently in love month, it seems. Unexpected, it seems.
It's cuffing season.
Coupling season?
Cuffing season. Have
What?
you heard about this?
No.
So it's a kind of pseudo thing where like, oh yeah, it's the winter, like not really going out for stuff. So like I'm going to settle down and like just
And
Partner
watch hot people bang on a boat?
yes. Granted, there's probably other ways to do that, but
Yeah, so this traditional show, similar to last week, but not really a gimmick, just like hot singles, now they're on a boat and they're going to bang.
yeah, this is The Bachelor on a Boat.
Well, it's not
Or,
Bachelor.
no, sorry, like Bachelor in
in
Paradise. Yeah,
But the original, I think, is Love Island, really.
yeah, fair. I mean,
But it's like the American version of Love Island, where it's like once a week and not like 18 times a week.
this is just in that realm of reality TV shows where we don't know the parent. Like this was just a real orgy of shows coming together to like make this.
It's just BIP. There's 5 women, there's 5 men, and then at the end of the, I don't know how many days they were doing, 2 days, 3 days, the women got to pick the guys and they kicked 2 guys off. That's the episode.
Yeah, easy enough. And it'll repeat ad nauseum until there's only one person.
I do have to say, we're going to talk about the tone of the show up front, because I feel like the tone, I'm really keying into tones. And I think this is a pretty positive tone. The hosts, which we can get into, are like, they really provide a positive experience, and they're actually on the goddamn show. They're like running the show partly. And that's kind of cool. And like all the edits make it look like everyone's there for love and I'm not there just to bang. But you know, some of these people are there just to bang for sure.
And that's fine. Or like influencers and stuff like that. If you're going on a TV show, you know what the odds are and you have to play it for your advantage after the show.
Yeah. You got to play the game, right?
Yeah.
Which no one's going to, let them do it. How good of an actor are you?
Yeah, it's fine. As long as you're providing entertainment and everybody knows what's up there, you're not trying to gaslight people, then you're good.
I mean, they try to weed a lot of those people out in the beginning.
Right. And we will get into that later too.
But like, what was the show where they're supposed to find players?
Oh, Fuckboy Island?
Yeah, F-Boy Island. And like the people,
am I going to get the rating?
And the women were supposed to kick off the F boys, but really wanted an F boy, and it was such a weird dynamic.
Great shows. So was that one of the casualties of HBO Max?
I don't think so, because that
Great.
one was pretty popular. Tangent. So I was looking at reality shows on Comcast today, and in their UI, in the one of the top categories was My Mom, Your Dad, which was one of my favorite shows of season 6. And I think it was a really good show, was one of the HBO casualties. You cannot watch the show.
No, they burned it.
episode 1, when you clicked on it, episode 1 was available on Comcast, but you cannot find the show. You cannot finish the show. And talk about a better love show than this. My Mom, Your Dad. Much
Oh
better.
yeah, way better tone.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about these hosts while we're doing it, and then we can move on. So, what are their names again? Rebecca and Jerry. Jerry's both of them are decently popular actors. Jerry was in Stand By Me and a little known movie called Mission to Mars.
All right, that's a decent.
You know, it's better than nothing. And then the woman is like Rebecca is more of a. She seems to be more of like a voice actor. She plays Lois Lane in all the DC animated movies.
Oh, that's pretty good.
She's done some live action stuff, but like not nobodies, but not really somebodies, right?
Yeah, this is the in between that I would kind of expect from a Love Boat. Like you're trying to latch onto this like older thing. Like you got to have, if you want to bring that back, you got to have something to relate to. Like it can't just be like a nobody host.
And they're really bringing this like 15 years married. We want you to find love. Like they're really bringing the like bachelor energy to this. We're like, got to be there for the right reasons. Got to set the right, ambiance.
You actually got to put yourself out there. All pretty good stuff, and like they're pushing for it.
Yeah. So like, I think they did a great job. To be honest, like of all the hosts in any dating show, these might have been the best.
Oh yeah, actually useful people.
Although Chris Hansen,
Well, that is not a dating show.
Is it? Are people not dating on that show?
So you know what this actually reminds me of? The Love Van show, where they're like they're not like participating, but like they're actually like discussing stuff.
The Love Van.
Inori Love Wagon.
Oh yeah. Because I mean, in this episode, we'll get into. Well, they didn't actually like do anything. So like the two of them are just there to like run the bingo thing. They ran this like bingo. Stupid fucking bingo thing where at the end they picked the girls' names out of a bingo crawler thing. It was just like bingo cruise staple.
Oh God,
Come to Princess Cruise where you can play bingo.
they're so right, but I hate them for this.
And yeah, they get to do shit like that. That's fun.
I can't, what if they do like a different like cruise thing every
They
elimination?
definitely are.
Yeah.
All right. So then there's also pseudo hosts, as I like to call them, Captain Paolo, bartender Ezra, and cruise director Matt. So apparently these are real Princess Cruise employees that they found, according to articles and what they've claimed. They worked for Princess Cruises as a captain, as whatever, and they like pretend that they're actually selling these ideas, like who goes on which date and what the dates are, which obviously they're not doing. Or they could be involved, but like the producers and executive producers are probably the ones really making those decisions.
I mean, the thing about this show is there are plenty of points where these like side hosts are coming in and chatting with the contestants, people on the show, and trying to push them towards dating. Like you actually get to see this like manipulation in real time.
Yeah, they're the manipulators.
Yeah, and I think that was good. Like put some pressure on this. It makes it seem like they're not just there to bang or something like that. Like even if you are, like it's just, hey, we're pushing you. You got to give us entertainment. Come on.
Gotta bang. Yeah. So we'll get into. I have a gripe with this, and we can get into it later, I think.
Yeah, let's do that. We got to
But,
start
like,
going this show.
Yeah, this captain, like, they're not providing a whole lot here. They're not like the hosts, which I thought they'd be the hosts, but they're not the hosts.
No, at the very least, Ezra needs to be passing out drinks left and right.
Yeah, we don't see any of that.
Nope.
And it's before we get to the show.
Oh my god.
It surprises me that none of these people were actually on the original Love Boat. Not as a guest star, not as a like none of them. Like this is a requel. Where's my fucking? You gotta have the bridge.
Okay, but so they brought in one older person.
Yeah, he is just a guest host. He's a guest star.
But that's great. I think that they're going to do different people every week.
This article said there's going to be 2.
Okay, that's still more than one.
I mean, it's more than none, but like, I don't know.
I would want.
I'm just surprised you couldn't get like one of the hosts couldn't be one of them.
Well, these are also like older, so I don't know if that's the vibe that they really want.
I think it was Ted Lance.
Yeah, it was Ted Lance, who was the OG bartender.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. It's just like, I don't know if Bob Barker would be like the right shot for like this show.
Let's get Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
As the host. I'm sure he was on. Maybe, I mean, they had the 90s one. Maybe they could get somebody from that. You know?
They had a 90s one?
I mean, they've rebooted this thing fucking like 15 times, I'm sure, at this point.
Yeah. The real reason why they chose like these hosts, though, is because they also got married on a cruise.
Yeah. What kind of cruise was it? Was it a princess cruise?
What else, Chris?
All right, So, the way we'll do this is we'll just talk about the women, and then whoever they picked at the end, we'll talk about that guy. So the women
Yes.
got to pick at the end, and we could talk about their dates or whatever bullshit, and then we'll talk about the 2 people that got kicked off, and then we'll tell you what we thought about the show. So that's how it's going to go. I wrote down first because she was the first one introduced. Shia Lin. She's 29. She's a sports radio host.
I mean, I like the way that they introduce these people too. They introduce like one at a time, and they also introduce like with their icebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, some of them did the icebreaker, some of them they introduced before the icebreakers. So there's a section of the show where they did like a weird skit. It was unclear what the skit had to be or what the rules were. It's just you had to go on stage and do something. And I didn't write down what she did.
Yeah, I didn't write it down either. There were a lot that just like they kind of glossed over,
Yeah,
which is fine.
it's fine. She had some drama. Her and another woman have some drama around Daniel. So she picked Daniel as her, like, whatever person to stay on the boat. And it seems like Daniel's really into her, but then the other girl,
Nicole wanted it.
Nicole, like, is way into him and like not interested in anyone else.
Yeah, that makes things like pretty tough, but it's the unfortunate thing of the bingo spinner. What is that thing called? Bingo cage? Oh, bingo cage. Yeah.
Bingo cage makes sense. Yeah. So we talk about Daniel. He's 24, which makes sense, for 29 or 20. I didn't write down Nicole's age. I think 24. Age range is good. They're both like dark-skinned individuals.
Yeah.
Can I say that? Is that okay?
Well,
tweet at me.
Well, Nicole was 28. She's an entrepreneur, and then Daniel is the basketball player.
Oh, yeah. No, he's not the player. He's a coach.
Oh, basketball coach.
He's a
yeah.
youth basketball coach.
Oh yeah, got it.
Yeah, I don't know anything else to say about this guy other than he likes Nicole.
Yeah, Nicole had like a good, like skit or whatever where she just deadlifted somebody.
Yeah, did Daniel have a skit?
Everybody has skit. Like,
yeah, but did you know what the
No.
skit was?
No.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Nicole. She's a bodybuilder. She lifted another contestant as her icebreaker or whatever, and she's really into Daniel. And she had to go on a date with somebody. She went on a date with Jordan.
Well, she didn't really like go on a date. They were just kind of like
That was
stretching
one
together.
of their. I'm pretty sure that was a date, bro.
Yeah, I guess.
So there's one of the one-on-one time, like times they set that the crew set up, in quotes, was like, hey, why don't you go lift weights together?
Oh yeah, that's fair. I was gonna ask like how strict, how loose are we gonna be with this definition of date? But yeah, if they're just like putting him in like a one-on-one
Yeah, that was
thing,
a
it's
one-on-one situation. Like,
Yeah.
then there was a hot tub day, which we'll get to. Yeah. So Nicole went on a date with Jordan and picked Jordan at the end. And Jordan
Weak.
is the firefighter, and he comes off as a player. Like, why do I care about this?
I mean, it's kind of interesting to learn about these people and like their profession, but ultimately, like a lot of these people are just gonna like come and go.
There's just so many people on this show, bro. They did a terrible job. Like, they did a decent job of introing them. Like, we kind of know who they are, and names the faces, but like, I don't know fucking shit about this dude.
They didn't show enough of that with the Chirons, and yeah, they could have done a little bit better because like I couldn't really match it up later. We're also busy writing this down as we're going, so that makes
We're
it
paying
worse.
at least 100% more attention than most people.
No, I can guarantee. Like when I see like I pull their name, their profession, their age, and I'm just down on my phone. Like I gotta write this down, otherwise it's
Yeah,
gone.
but like most people are just on their phones anyway, not paying attention.
Yeah, but I guess then this is the thing. They don't care. Why bother doing an introduction?
You got to intro like 18 times so people know. All right, let's talk about other people.
Yeah, please.
Let's talk about Emily. She's 24. She's a nurse and a virgin, which I don't know. Does that get you on the show?
I think
you-
it does.
Do you lie about it?
I think that this is coming up more and more in romance shows, and it's really fucking weird.
Yeah. And it seemed like Marty and her are smitten.
Yeah, like I mean, they were the first to make out, at least on cam.
And they did during the ceremony, they were pretty red.
Oh yeah, and Marty gave like a very impassioned speech, and everybody was like, "Aww."
I do worry about this age gap though. So Marty is 33 and she's 24. I just feel like people are different phases of their life at that point.
I think let it go. It's like
I
you're
mean,
already going on.
let them do it. I mean, I'm not blocking anyone. I'm just saying, as a 24-year-old virgin with a 33-year-old guy, like,
Who are both getting together off of a reality dating show. Like the odds, I don't know what the odds are for reality dating shows.
low.
Yeah, so
Low.
we're just gonna let this go. And
You think Marty's gonna be okay not banging her the whole show?
he seems like that. Yeah, I think that's what this is more about love than the banging.
Yeah, I mean that's what they say. They have to say that.
Okay, many people are gonna be all like that, but then you're gonna have some people who are gonna put on that vibe like Jordan and still not get kicked off because they're more entertaining.
I mean, the way the show works, it's like hard for the producers to kick somebody off. I think,
Well,
like, because like the women or the men have to pick the other person, and essentially not be kicked off.
I think that there's some ways that they can influence just by doing like little date setups, little romantic things, like make it like so that it feels like more positive than other dates. If they really wanted to, they could do that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like they definitely could do that for sure.
We don't see
I
enough
mean, they
of it.
kind of did it already.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have anything to say about Marty before we move on? I wrote nothing.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't even have what his little intro thing was.
I think it was like a poem or something.
Oh yeah, he did an impassioned poem too.
There's a bunch of poems.
Yeah.
I think half of them were poems or something.
That's pretty good if you can do something like that off the cuff. Mad props.
So let's talk about Alyssa.
Yeah.
So she's 24. Do you have anything written about her?
Her intro thing was the Pilates. She
Yeah.
loves it, and she did like a little demonstration.
Yeah. So she won the like icebreaker challenge, icebreaker vote. whatever the fuck that was. So she won. So she got to go on a date. So she went on a date with Michael, which who gives a fuck who Michael is? I'm gonna be honest with you. He's 35, and he can't. No, Michael. We talk about Michael, but so Alyssa picks him, and then the producers pick her to go on a different date with the guy named Nathan at the hot tub date, the hottest one, the best one.
Right.
By far. There was a golf date, then there's a fucking hot tub date. Got to be on that hot tub date with a different dude.
Yep.
And
But-
then picks that dude at the end.
Yeah, there's multiple factors at play here. So first off, Michael introduced himself in this icebreaker as
I know.
somebody who was like a really shitty person in past relationships, and specifically said, like, I would gaslight often. And
You're like, you just can't say that.
no, like you don't go into that. He also said, yeah, I went to therapy. I fixed my problems. I grew. That's the way you approach it. You don't say all the fucked up shit you did. So the fact that you got picked for a one-on-one date by that person and not the show is amazing. Good job,
That's
Michael.
true.
And
Like the producers heard him. The producers, if they didn't know what he was going to say, and he said that, they were like, "Uh oh, this
Yeah.
dude ain't going to make any edits."
I mean, it didn't really work for him though.
It didn't. I mean, she made the right choice because she was pretty young and he was pretty old.
I don't-
And we have already talked about my thoughts on that, Brian, and we can move on. But I forgot he said about the guy he gaslights often. There's no way you can just you're just gonna stop that behavior completely.
No, I think you would. If you actually go to therapy and address your problems, you could.
You could,
But
but will you?
But the thing is, you also don't know much about Jordan. Like she was immediately like, "Oh, he comes off as a player." Okay, well, you liked Michael for his authenticity. Why wouldn't you go for the person who's more secure?
Because Jordan was hotter.
Yeah, that's it. So
No one is saying these women you're on the show for a reason. You want to bang, and you can bang the hotter person, Brian. That's just how it works. I've been watching more of Dated and Related, and it is obvious that the hottest people want to hook up with the hottest people, and that's it. And that's what's happening right now.
yep. But at the same time, Michael also showed maturity because Ezra came by and was like, "Oh yeah, so she's on another date right now," referring to Nicole, and he's like, "Yeah, but I'm not really
Alyssa.
jealous." What?
It was Alyssa.
Oh yeah, Alyssa, sorry. But yeah, and it was really just surprisingly mature that he just wasn't going to go interrupt it. Was like, yeah, I'm going to trust in the situation. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but spoilers.
Whatever. She picked Nathan and not Michael, and Michael's gone.
Yep. Maybe he should have.
Maybe. All right, we talked about Sheila and we talked about Emily. We didn't talk about Brooke. She's 35. She's competitive, not catty, and she's a dolphin whisperer.
Oh, that was a great icebreaker.
Is it? Is
Yeah,
it?
I
I
actually-
don't really want anything to do with this woman.
That's just funny. It's just oh yeah, this random thing I did as a kid. Haha, that's fun.
Maybe. I don't know.
You're not gonna get it again as a thing, or maybe it'll be a cutesy thing.
I mean, they're digging real hard into it in this show. They definitely made multiple jokes about this whole dolphin thing.
I mean, when you intro like that, you're gonna make some jokes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
She's not gonna do it again though. You're gonna be making the jokes.
she didn't seem I understand you and I are oh, that's a funny joke, but I'm not entirely sure that's how she was saying. I don't know. She seemed really good at making it seem really serious.
I mean, she's just good at it. What can I say?
Yeah, but then what about her second line? I'm competitive, not catty. So she's obviously catty. That's what a catty person would say.
Yeah, that's maybe not the way you would want to go, but that's okay.
Yeah, and then she picked Brett, which Brett was 37, and that's all I wrote down.
He's a footwear designer for a major brand.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it sucks that they can't say that brand, but
Adidas, Nike.
if it's either one of them, like basically you can walk around and see your shoes.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of knowledge we're getting this episode. Like, don't know much about Brett. And then we talked about Nicole a little bit.
Yeah, we already covered her.
Who do we miss? Anyone? We missed Forrest.
Yeah, was Forrest one of the new ones? Yeah, no, Forrest. So after all this, they presented.
After the icebreaker challenge, they like got to hang out for a little bit. Then they like brought everyone in together and introduced 2 new guys. So like the next day they could kick off 2 people, which I thought was really unfair. Like these people just met one day. They had like 8 hours together, maybe. And then you get 2 new people for another like 8 hours. Then they have to kick people off. I mean, I know we're trying to keep things moving, but like, why don't you just do 6 guys at first and 5 girls and just like let them kick it off after 16 hours? What is this 2 guys bullshit?
Hey, the Love Boat is not stopping for you.
What do you mean? How'd they get on the boat?
Okay, well maybe it's stopping. Well, no, you can like cruise up on like a little boat and like dock
A little
it up.
dinghy. They're like getting
Yeah.
a little dinghy.
But
Yeah,
I kind of like the pressure. It's it puts pressure on the 2 new people because hey, you need to start making moves.
But why
otherwise
do
you're
we
gone.
need to have pressure on the Love Boat? The Love Boat should be fun and about banging in like maybe more than one person.
Well,
Like, what is this bullshit?
that's why you bring 2 on at once, Chris.
I guess that does create some sort of imbalance
In the good way.
in the good way. Yeah, they introduced Nathan, which we talked about. He gets picked instead of Michael. And then we got this guy named Forrest, which I think is in the show for less than 30 seconds. He's 30 and they show him up at the end at like the ceremony. And we're like, who the fuck's that guy? And we're like, well, that guy's gone.
Yeah, he had like a little bit. He just had random moments where I would see him wink, and that was really weird. Like I don't need to just like having a conversation then winking. It's like why do I have to?
Because you don't get any time to know this guy. The wing could have been good.
It didn't work for him.
It clearly didn't work for him. Yeah, and that's pretty much the show. Like each week the 2 people leave the boat in quotes, which I guarantee you they're not leaving the boat.
Do you think there's like a redemption boat cruising alongside
That's
the
what
other?
I'm saying. I told you at the end of when we were watching the show that they should be going to a room and analyzing all the dates like they did in that show we just talked about, F-Boy Island.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have that. And let Second Chance of Love section.
Ooh. It also opens up like a survival end of competition tribunal where it's like, oh, you were here for the right reasons.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
But I feel like there could be a lot of spurned energy in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there might be some banging in there. That's fine.
So I was reading up, and apparently this cruise just went around the Mediterranean. So like, I'm sure you just sign it, be like, you get to be on this cruise whether you're in or out, and like you get kicked out, film this thing, then you come back on the boat, you're good to go. Like, you think they're gonna fucking get airplane flights at all these places to send people home?
No. And then just
I
like,
mean, it's probably cheaper than keeping them on the boat, so maybe.
I don't know about that either.
I mean, they go through the whole Caribbean. That's not a short cruise. You
No.
gotta feed them, gotta house them. But like, are you gonna pick up new people? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like to be part of the show, I'm not gonna be part of the show if I don't get to be on the whole cruise. Right?
Yeah.
You could deduct it from their pay probably.
Ooh, that's a good
Because
one.
if you're like not on the episode, you don't get paid.
Yeah. Here's your stop, or you can pay to keep going.
It's possible. Yeah.
Like where your head's at.
Yeah. So the women picked it off this week, and then the men get to kick next week. I'm sure they'll introduce more women to introduce more drama around who can be competitive. You know?
Yeah.
And that's the show.
Yep.
Brian, who's the worst human being on the show?
I initially wanted to say Jordan because, he was coming off like a little bit too much. I don't think any of the hosts are really bad, though.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's not really like anybody bad, though. And you're just there. You're playing the game. It's fine. Nobody was an asshole this week.
All right. Well, I like it. We talked about the hosts already. This is not the apex for the hosts. We discussed that. Should we do drinking rules? I feel like we got to get some drinking going on for this.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you obviously got to make out when people make out.
Great.
I mean, take a drink when people make out.
Take a drink every time there's a new date.
Oh, that's a good one. Drink every time you see the logo for Paradise.
The Real Love Boat, you mean?
The Paradise Cruises. Every time you see the logo
Oh.
or any mention of Paradise,
Yep.
take a drink.
Princess name drop, drink.
Yeah, Princess. That's it. Not Paradise. Princess.
Cheers and finish your drink when an OG cast member comes back.
Oh, that's a good one. I also think you should take a couple drinks to a shot if somebody bangs. I mean, that should be stock, but
Yeah, I think that needs to be
or
stock.
heavily implied they bang because you're obviously not going to see them bang. This isn't Skinamax, yo. We need like more of a general one.
I mean, there's also obviously the drinking one.
I mean, there's obviously you could drink when somebody flirts.
Ooh. What about anytime somebody jumps in the pool?
That's a good one. Yeah, I like the dates. Dates one's good. The making out. Anytime somebody gets kicked off, drink some.
And pour it out for them.
Well, don't pour it out. Just drink it. Don't pour it out. Would this show be better as a Quibi, Brian?
I don't think so. And the reason is that this show is moving. I didn't really feel like there was much you can cut out. And like, I know that's like not usually your definition of the Quibi, but like I can't even, the reason I say like cut it out is because it means it can be broken down into smaller things.
Yeah, the show definitely, the format, this format of like have 5 and 6 people, 5 guys, 6 women, and then introduce more guys, more like it's hard to do in a shorter format. I'm not sure I like this format as a whole, but like I'd rather just have like 12 people and 12 people and then like move down from there. But there's no drama in that, so they don't do that.
Of course not.
What do you think the production schedule of this thing was?
Okay, so this is a cruise around the Caribbean. I feel like we can easily find this out if we had Internet Corner.
Noah, we need you.
But I think that that's exactly it. Whatever the length of time is that cruise, that's the production schedule.
One fun fact I read about this show was that apparently there was an Australian version of this show on whatever their Channel 10 is, and they went first. So they went on this cruise all the way around, and then in one day, all the Australian people left and all the US people came in, and they did it again.
Wow. That's a really, really good schedule.
And then, what else did I find out? Ooh, I just had it in my fucking head and it went away.
Oh, it's okay.
I lost it. Sorry, guys.
No.
So the Caribbean cruise length is who's going to hook up next is the question. And do you think Miss Virgin is lying about being a virgin, or she'll lose her virginity on this show and everyone gets to see her lose her virginity? Like, I feel like she can't do that either. Like,
that's really weird for everybody to see it.
I mean,
okay. I don't think anybody would lie about that. I think it's really weird that they brought it up. I also think that they are going to be the next ones to hook up. Because they were the first ones to kiss. Like, there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, he's 33. I feel like if she never said she was a virgin, 100% they're next hooking up. It could be Sheilyn and Daniel. They seem to be into each other.
Yeah, they were also pretty good.
But you never know what Nicole's going to come in there and try to bench her way into that sitch.
Power move. Love it.
Yeah. Let's see. We already went over that. What do you love about this show?
I really love the push to make a move. Sometimes you'll see like contestants like not doing anything or just laying back, like just saying, "Oh yeah, I got this." No, you are not safe on the Love Boat, despite what the name would suggest, and the hosts are gonna push you to your limit. You will always be flirting.
Must be flirting. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention was that this was a real cruise, so other people were on the boat at the same time.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense because then like you were burning so much money if it's just a private cruise.
I mean, it could have been a good COVID idea, but while the cruise ships weren't running.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, there's no way you could have this cruise by itself. But I feel like the people on the cruise got really like screwed by like the production crew like taking the hot tub for like a couple hours.
Yeah,
like
nobody can go on this side of the boat. Like everybody just go here for dinner. Like we're recording that.
Yeah,
I mean that could be it. It's like, hey, team dinner, and then
that's why I'm saying like, why did they get kicked off the boat? They could just come right back in.
Yeah, they're probably not getting kicked off. You're right.
Yeah, that was my whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's do ratings. So we do a stack ranking system. We need other reality shows. We got top, middle, bottom, third compared to other reality shows. I just said that, but some people stack rank and their stack ranks. Brian,
I'm gonna go middle to middle. This show caught my attention a bit. It was moving, but I also couldn't. It was just I don't care that much about it. It's kind of like I like The Bachelorette a lot better than this because of the focus on one person, and this is just like jumping around. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna go middle third. Either the tone of the show and the push of the show to actually like was good, and I think that you'll see some like Amazing Race style competitions in the future, which could be cool. And so, but at the end of the day, it's like a format that I really don't like, and there's not a whole lot of like super positivity like we saw last week, which was like a mild top third. So I'm gonna go in the middle. It wasn't terrible. It's not like Love Island where it's just like people fucking yelling at each other about like I wanted to bang that girl and you bang. I'm like I don't like give a fuck. And some of these people are older, and I've always said like if you gave me a 35 to 50-year-old dating like Love Island kind of sitch, that would be amazing. That would be the best. And this like 24 to 37, I guess, is like close. Some people are going to be catty and just want to hook up. Some people might actually be interested in love. So like, middle third, that's where we're going with.
Yeah. Love it. We're in agreement.
Yeah. So yeah, last week we watched Dated and Related. So I continued to watch Dated and Related as like a side kind of thing. And it's such a weird show. And like they got Chris and Jason, which I hated. They were just like they were real pushy, they were real players, and they just got rejected so many times. And it was really spoiler alert. I like clapped when they got kicked off the show. It was a proud moment.
So I also watched this, and the way that they were super predatory was so uncomfortable.
They were so broy, but everyone's like they got this like Netflix kind of like we're in it together kind of vibe. It feels like people are really close, and then when people get kicked off, like people are real upset. So like I was surprised that they were kind of upset this they like left. but I don't know if they're just playing it up for camera. Who knows?
Meh. I mean, they would have liked to stay on there for longer.
I'm sure. Well, obviously they did. Also, the other twin, there's so many twins on this fucking show.
That's
Like-
also a little bit weird.
Like the women twins from London, like one of them was dating the black twin, and they tried to date the other black twin, and then they I get pretty exhausted from this show.
Yeah, it held my attention still. I'm just putting in the background and looking over occasionally and seeing something funny.
Well, you got ringing endorsement
Yeah.
as we continue. Brian, any shout outs this week?
Finished the latest season Cobra Kai. Good. Love the energy. Taskmaster's back. I haven't watched it yet, but I have heard a lot of good things about the cast this season. There are some really, really good comedians that everybody was been eager to get on the show, and they got them, like Dara O'Brien.
Yeah, we gotta watch that, Brian.
Yeah.
What about? Are you caught up on Rings of Power?
Not rings, but dragons.
Oh, you're in the Dragons. So I'm also caught up on the Dragons. Not really spoilers, but there was like a big time jump and people were freaking out. But I feel like with the second time jump episode, it started to make sense to me why they did it.
Yes. I think that, well, initially when I saw like Joffrey up, I was like, oh my God, this is now linking really, really hard. And I could feel my blood boiling a little bit.
The guy, he got to you that much.
Yeah.
He's just an actor, bro.
I don't care. He was really good at it. Dude was a dick. It was great.
Yeah, I do think the show will be better as binge watched than not. It's like this week to week is nice. I like the week to week. I've always said I like week to week. But like people get so bitchy sometimes week to week. Like they have an episode where some things don't work out the way you want them to, but then they're explained the next week and you're like, like it flows nicely.
Yeah, I think in general that works better for every show. I'm waiting to do the same thing with She-Hulk. I started watching an episode and I was like, no, I think I'll enjoy this a little bit more straight through.
Yeah, that's what I thought about Miss Marvel, and then I just kind of stopped.
Yeah, but this is also a show that I don't even know how many episodes I could binge watch. It's a serious thing. Like I'm just engrossed, and then
It's so long. It feels like a movie every time I pop on one of like both Rings and Dragons.
yeah,
It feels like a movie I like keep putting on every time. Rick and Morty's been good this season for sure. I forget what else I was gonna say.
I think this is where we shove off.
Is it where we show off? We saw Avatar though, Brian.
Oh, I forgot about that. Like
Yeah.
already, but like it was pretty good.
That was great. I think that movie's a 5 out of 5. And if you loved seeing it in 2009, you will love seeing it in 2022. And if you're too young to see in 2009, go. It is so good. Just ignore the whole white savior thing and you'll be good.
Yep. Ignore all the shittiness.
All right. You can find us on Twitter at HoopItThisOn, where you can tell us what you thought about this show. And you can find us on Facebook.com/HoopItThisOn. Give us questions and suggestions at HoopItThisOn@gmail.com. And I remembered what I was going to say. I've been watching more Contraption Masters.
Ooh, okay.
And it's been pretty good. There's some people that are really good making these contraptions. And I'm just caught up with the semifinals. And I'm really excited to watch the finals. Like the two people that made it to the finals are really good.
TikTok stars?
I don't remember.
Oh. Okay.
But like, there's some people that are like, oh, we made this contraption. And it goes by in like a snap. And like, there's some people that are like, ooh, we're going to creepily open this door and slowly roll this ball and like see these things fall. And like, that's just so much better.
Yeah, you don't want it to just be like all at once. You want to
Yeah,
savor
so
it.
there's definitely some disparity in skill on how people are doing this. But it's really cool to see the contraption. So I would definitely go watch that. So we'll see you guys next time.
A love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. A love boat. Promise is something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance.